What's up everyone, my name is Royal Rebel, and in this video I'm going over the upcoming changes to the killer meta perks. Now with this recent update there are a lot of changes being announced, so I will be doing my best to try and create multiple videos around it, but as of right now I am prioritizing changes to the meta. I also want to note that the notes the developers gave us are really vague in some aspects, so if some perks end up working differently than how I currently interpret them in this video, that's part of the reason why. The developers do have a plan to do a live stream and explain these changes in further detail, so if there is any confusion around these changes, hopefully it'll be cleared up there. And before we get into the perks, there are some changes that I want to talk about that will give context to the perk changes themselves. So the first one is that Dead by Daylight is finally redoing the progression system. The goal of this rework is to ease the blood point grind in the game and encourage players to prestige more. The developers currently estimate that they've cut back the grind by 75%, so it should be a substantial change. Personally, this is an update I've been waiting for a while. I've said in a previous video that the amount of grinding required to play Dead by Daylight is a huge turnoff for casual players, and for any game to stay healthy, it needs to be friendly to a casual player base. Although I will say I am really disappointed in the so-called reward the developers are giving players with this update. The reward that the developers promised is actually just making players' characters reflect the prestige level they would be under this new system based on blood points they've already spent on their characters in the past. Personally, I think that's pretty lackluster. I mean, not that I was hoping for anything substantial. Honestly, I thought it was just going to be like an exclusive charm for the characters that have already reached Prestige 3 or something like that. But because the way they're reworking the progression system to then reward players' charms, I guess I see why they didn't give us something like that. I'm still disappointed though. Another base game rework that's coming to the game is generators. Generators are going to take an additional 10 seconds at base to repair. So they're going to go from 80 seconds total to 90 seconds if you repair with no items and no hindrance. And also when a killer kicks a generator, it will instantly remove 2.5% of the generator's progress. This is an update I don't really love or hate, to be honest. I'm just gonna see how it feels, how it plays out in game before I really formulate an opinion on it, especially because they are tweaking some really popular perks to reflect this change. So I mean 10 seconds sounds like a lot, but again, I'm just gonna wait and see how it plays out with everything else. Currently, the meta perks that have been announced to change are Barbecue and Chili, Hex Ruin, Pop Goes the Weasel, Corrupt Intervention, Tinkerer, Noed, and Scourge Hook Pain Residence. They did base it off of this lovely chart that they've been referencing for a while that shows us how much perks have been used based on Killer's MMR, so we can kind of see why these are the perks chosen as terms of meta. But starting off with Barbecue and Chili, how Barbecue and Chili currently works is that upon hooking a survivor, killers see the auras of distant survivors for a short duration. Killers also gain bonus blood points each time they hook a survivor for the first time. The change the developers are bringing is removing that blood point bonus, and the reason for this is because they don't want people choosing perks because of blood points. Now, if the progression update works like the developers anticipate, I don't think this change is going to be a big deal. I mean, if we do take away that substantial grind, then there wouldn't be a point to using it anyways, because, you know, most killers I know run this perk solely for the blood points. Removing this bonus will put it on par basically with every other information perk, which will make it great for newer killers who still need to learn how to like track survivors, but this may not be as beneficial for veteran killers who kind of already have that instinct, that intuition on how to find survivors. And then with this being said, I am at least glad the developers are being consistent because they have updated the survivor perk We're Gonna Live Forever to also get rid of that blood point bonus. Next up is Ruin. Currently, Ruin causes generators automatically to regress at up to a 200% speed, and this effect goes away when survivors cleanse its totem. It's now being changed to regress only up to 100% speed and automatically deactivate once a survivor is killed. Now, I appreciate the slowdown or regression. Between the added time to generators and the added regression for getting a generator kick, this makes us feel balanced with those changes. However, I don't personally think this perk needs to deactivate once a survivor dies. You know, a decent group of survivors will cleanse Ruin before even 2 generators are repaired, which already hinders the lifespan to begin with. I imagine part of this update is to be inclusive of lower skilled players who may be struggling to find the totem, or, you know, to at least give them a chance at gens should they be paired with a strong killer. Pop Goes the Weasel. Currently, Pop Goes the Weasel, after hooking a survivor, the next generator a killer kicks will lose 25% of total total progress. The developers are changing this to be 20% of current progress. So the point of this change is to, again, make it strong against stronger players and weak against weaker players. Combined with the changes made to generator repair speed, I think this one makes sense. And I really appreciate developers looking at how perks will play out for players at multiple skill levels. Corrupt Intervention is going from, at the start of the match, the 3 furthest generators are blocked to up to 120 seconds, to being blocked until a survivor enters a dying state. I don't really have strong feelings towards this change. On one hand, I do appreciate, again, looking out for players among multiple skill levels, but this feels a little strong for me. Like, if you get a killer that's weak enough or survivors that are strong enough, this could force a 3-gen. This assumes that the block is indefinite until meeting its condition. I think a happy medium would to be make this an or condition. So generators would be blocked for up to 120 seconds, or if a survivor enters the dying state. Part of why I say this is because even after matchmaking tests, I don't feel like the changes had that great of an effect. It feels truly rare to find a balanced match, and I think with this new condition to Corrupt Intervention, I don't see it working the way the developers intend to, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. On to Tinkerer. How Tinkerer currently works is that when generators reach 70% progress, killers get a noise notification and become undetectable for up to 16 seconds. The changes being implemented is that now it will only activate once per generator, but because it takes longer to repair gens, they anticipate that killers will get more time to approach. This one I was surprised to see changed. I honestly didn't think it was that imbalanced, but this is going to force killers to get the most out of that undetectable status since it only works once per generator. So hypothetically, killers can only get the status 7 times. I think considering the changes that are coming to generators, this will help keep it balanced along with the killer's base regression for kicking a generator. But again, I think this is one that we're just gonna have to like wait it out, see how it feels, see how it plays. Onto NOED. So the basic functions of NOED aren't being changed. The idea for this perk is to encourage survivors to do totems early and prevent it from activating. Fundamentally, NOED is still going to be working the same. Once that last generator is repaired, survivors will suffer from the exposed status effect, making them all one-shot. What developers did change, however, is how survivors see the totem. Survivors will now see an aura around NOED starting at 4 meters, and it will grow up to 24 meters within 30 seconds. So generally, I'm a survivor who tries to cleanse totems as I see them, unless someone's running boons. I don't want to see NOED activate. So overall, I really like this change. I'm hoping that it will curb the number of survivors who abandon teammates because they can't find NOED. I mean, it's beyond frustrating when the totem spawns in a hard to see area, but personally, I do also feel like that's what kept NOED balanced, because there should be times when you have to make a hard decision in the game. Survivors aren't always going to be able to find the hexes, but I will say 24 meters doesn't sound that far. For context, it's about the range of a shorter killer's terror radius, so hopefully this isn't too powerful, and hopefully this will do what it's intended to encourage survivors to cleanse totems. I will say though, I do think it's funny that they're making a change to NOED, because during the announcement, I believe it's either in the forum itself or they said it somewhere on Twitter, I don't remember where, the developer said they don't think survivors are dying enough, which I definitely disagree with. Considering the average kills in a match is just under 50%, it's like 49 point something. This is according to nightlight.gg and what the developers have published on their forums. While I agree, killers should be a terrifying force. Like, survivors should be scared of killers. Like, this is in fact a horror game. If the kill rate gets too high, it's going to make it potentially unfun for both sides, which is not encouraging at all to keep people playing. Personally, when I play killer, I enjoy the challenge of getting good survivors. I really hate the matches that end quickly because I'm too powerful compared to the survivors I've been matched with. I think in terms of wanting to make the killer seem more terrifying, the developers need to keep refining the matchmaking, because I've said it already, even after the test, matchmaking doesn't feel balanced. For me, it doesn't matter if I'm playing killer or survivor, it feels like I'm getting either side of the spectrum. I'm either getting my ass absolutely handed to me or I'm spanking the survivor or the players I'm up against. Like, I miss that happy medium of getting matches that like I felt on par with the people I was playing against. But anyways, on to our last perk, Scorch Hook Pain Residence. Its current effect is that when a killer hooks a survivor, the generator with the most progress explodes, notifies the killer, and instantly loses up to 15% of its current progress. The developers are now removing that explosion, taking away the information aspect of this perk. The reason why they're doing this is they felt like that this perk was too much of a jack of all trades. It was just doing too much, which made it a little too powerful. They did, however, say that the generator will still lose progress, but survivors will no longer scream, so I'm also assuming this means they will no longer let go. I do think with the extended time it takes to repair, this is a fair change. With the additional time, generators can also lose up to an additional 2 seconds, so doing the math, like, it was about 11 seconds before, it'll be about 13 seconds maximum now, so it's like assuming the generator explodes at either 79 or 89 seconds. But this is also taking away a very powerful combination, since survivors will no longer scream, and again, I'm assuming this means they will no longer let go of the generator. This means pain resonance will no longer be a combination with Dead Man Switch, which admittedly is a really fun killer combo. As much as I think this change is fair, I am kind of sad to see such a iconic combination go away. But these are the changes coming to Dead by Daylight's killer meta. Are there any changes you guys love? Do you hate some of them? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And for anyone who's looking to read the full list of changes, I will be leaving the link to the forum down in the description below. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more content, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so I can bring you more Dead by Daylight content. And if you guys want to check out my Twitch streams, I currently go live Sundays and Thursdays 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Saturdays 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.